Yeah. Hey!
What's up, guys?
Yo.
What's up, guys? We're all back. All three of us are back for this week's episode.
A little bit late.
I don't know, like, well, new location for, like, what, you and me, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Me too. I've never been here.
You've never been here?
No.
This is a new building.
It's a new
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Look at the gloss. It's so new.
So
Don't touch it.
clean.
Don't touch it.
Okay. John Dad. Welcome, guys. Thank you for showing up. This is, of course, an accident. Oh, God! No! It's like me.
You?
No, none of us. No. Hey, how are those comments coming along?
Let's see. Let's see who we got in the chat. Bat2C.
Sorry about that. Don't worry. Everyone's fine. We're fine. How are you?
Bat2C. We got Thomas French.
Oh my God.
This is an exciting cast.
It's an exciting episode of Henshin Hangout.
We live in California, so there's earthquakes.
No,
Don't freak him out like that.
Oh, it's fine. It's barely wake me up when it's a 6.0.
I wonder why.
I'm just watching like the video of what's actually happening again. It's like, what just happened?
So wonder.
It was like, what happened? Did we use it? Did we use Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel? Did we go to the dark dimension? No! We should have played Pot of Grease!
So Bat2C says, I wonder why the early show. We're trying a little something different.
different.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Look, it's a whole different location for us.
Fancy.
That's why we're a little late because we had to figure out where was it.
Had to figure out where to park at.
Yeah. I'm so used to the other location. I know where to park. I know where it's at. But
we're back.
We're back. All three.
We left Johnny by himself, or Daniel filled in for us for a little bit.
It was bad. Dan was trying to take out spots too.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
like, I can be a Henshin brothers. Like, you're a Henshin cousin. We appreciate you, but there's 3 Henshin.
You're
bros.
invited to the parties,
Exactly.
but let's not lie.
You can come into the house, but don't try to stay.
Don't move in.
Guys, thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning or afternoon with us.
Yeah.
You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us, and
We appreciate that.
We appreciate that.
so let's get down to business.
Yeah.
Let's get down to business.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start?
Well,
Where
I
do
guess-
you want to start?
I guess what we can start at first is because, like, with all the news and everything that's been happening this week, is we can do our own version. Talk about again Stan Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the middle of Stan Lee was kind of like getting important to like all of us and everything like that. On the superhero news network, I kind of talked about like his influence there, but it'd be dope to hear from you guys a little bit about like Stan Lee's influence in your lives.
For sure. And I won't. Obviously, I won't take too long because we have a bunch of stuff to talk about for us of the show. But I will say that Stan Lee was the first comic book creator I got to learn about, and one of those guys that, like, when I think of Marvel, I do associate Stan Lee to Marvel as well. Eventually I grew to love like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, John Buscema, and etc. But Stan is literally turned himself into the face of Marvel.
Yeah.
So when he passed, it was a shock, but also I understood, and you know what? Like, the dude left a lasting legacy that I don't think not many folks could match, and that's incredible.
Definitely not. I think I was surprised because we probably every few months we'd get news on Stan Lee being sick and everything, and everybody kind of just like, clenches and embraces themselves for. But he was old. He was getting older, and usually when he lost his spouse last year, I think, and usually after that you kind of start losing momentum. But he has had a huge impact on our lives.
Yeah.
He's created so many different characters that we've grown to love. I've learned now that he started these things, but a lot of different creators,
Right.
shaped them. So thank you to him for that.
We'll show. And what's cool is like the reach he has. Because part of the reason why I want to bring him up on our show, and here's the thing, like tune into Ranger Wrap Up after this, where Justin will be there. They go more in detail about like how Stan Lee's connection with Power Rangers was pretty dope. It was actually made his connection with Sentai.
Oh yes,
Because
absolutely.
what's interesting is like Sentai in Japan was like going okay, but they were actually on the verge of like getting canceled because they were doing some of the same thing over and over again. Like, you got 5 people people in suits like fighting and whatnot. But what actually saved them was actually Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They brought Japanese Spider-Man over to they brought Spider-Man over to Japan. They put their own spin on him, and they gave him this whole new origin, everything like that. Totally different alien race, everything like that. And what was cool is they gave Spider-Man, you know what? Let's give him a giant robot called Leopada.
Yeah.
And it was such a huge success that people, all of a sudden, the creators were like, hey, if they like a giant robot here, will they like a giant robot here? And so that's how they introduced Yep.
Oh, so he took Sentai to the next level.
Well, no, yeah, like because he helped create Spider-Man, and they brought Spider-Man to Japan, and Japan did what they did and made their own twist and fun take on Spider-Man. That robot, because here's what happened: like Go Ranger was mega popular, 80 episodes. Go Ranger.
But they didn't have robots.
They didn't have robots.
No. Just like fighting people in suits.
Fighting people, cool jets, no robots. Jaka, the second one created by Ishinomori, because Ishinomori created Kamen Rider, created Go Ranger, he also created Jaka. Jaka, not that successful. A little too dark, then it got too weird, and that was a show they tried to fix. The shortest Sentai run in history, under around 30 episodes. So, Sentai wasn't sure. So they decided, let's try to go back to what made Go Ranger work. But, like Johnny said, they saw how popular the giant robot was.
In Spider-Man.
And went, why don't we put a giant robot in Spider-Man? Also, of course, that is cool. in Battle Fever J, there's, of course, other Marvel influences in Battle Fever J. Miss America is slightly weirdly inspired by
Miss America, the character here, weirdly enough. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. So, but that's like the continuation of partnering up with Marvel and Toei at the time. And of course, I mean, side note, I love me some Leopardo.
So what was the, because I've seen clips, what was the purpose of that little thing he has on?
That's a change device.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
The spider costume,
it's dope.
The costume pops out of that little wristband a la like Barry Allen in The Flash and just like hilariously but awesomely drapes over him. The robot is a jet. Is a robot.
It's an alien ship that's been around for millions of years. It's like it's such a rich history. So cool.
No, and again, if you're currently reading comics, like Leopardo returns in Volta Spider and also the issue 2 or 3 of Spider-Geddon. Leopardon's back. Yeah. And there's a great bit in that issue where like Auto Spidey is telling Japanese Spider-Man to throw the sword right away, and Japanese Spider-Man's like, I don't do that. No, I do that at the end. No, we gotta get rid of this now. We gotta take care of this monster out, finish it up. But that's unhonorable. I don't do that. Like, do it. And he does, and he's like, well, see, wasn't that faster? Yeah, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah, so good.
Beautifully did that. So again, do stick around. When we do Ranger wrap up, we'll go further into Stan and a weird Power Ranger connection.
We got a super chat.
Super chat. Which we got?
Toku Kid says maybe we get Toku Spidey in the Spider-Verse movie.
That could be potential. I mean, we do have an anime version of Spider, like Spider Girl there, who has her own like animatronic robot in a way. Yeah. So I think we all know
maybe
at some point that robot's going to transform. That spider's going to transform to a giant robot.
But I'm going to cross my fingers because I would love to see it in that animated movie.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I see the dope thing about this, and we start talking about, because everyone's here for Henshin stuff, we'll start getting to that next. But the dope thing about this is that when we see that cross-cultural collaboration happen, all the influences and cool things that come from that.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the dope thing about it, because again, if they had never started that initial collaboration, who knows how far Sentai would have gone.
Right.
So it's really dope. So again, in a way.
Thank you, Stan.
Thanks, Stan.
Thank you, Stan. Okay, well, moving on from that, shall we go into Zi-O?
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and pull this teeth now.
Zi-O.
Oh, Johnny, what happened?
So before we had the retro show, we watched the first part of this arc.
Yeah.
With Kamen Rider O.
Oz.
Did you watch that show?
I did.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I called it a beautiful mess.
A beautiful mess. Why is that?
I love the characters in the show. There's some great dynamics. There's some really awesome beats that happen to it. It's a giant mess. The villains aren't really well defined. That sounds familiar. And I will say, for me personally, O's has one of the worst last episodes I've ever seen in
Really? That bad?
It's that bad. It's sloppy. It's messy. And I was just kind of sitting there going, what happened here?
Worse than Ninja Steel?
Worse.
Wink.
the ninja stew.
So this,
about as bad.
the villain in this episode is from where?
X8.
X8.
Kuroto Dan.
He is a crazy. He is out there.
I do not like Kuroto Dan.
So here's the thing. Like, I'm not enjoying this right now.
Sure.
And here's the reason why. So here's going to this series again. I was really excited because it's like, oh, so we have our main hero here who's like very shonen style. Like, I'm gonna be a king. I want to be a hero. I want to protect people. I was like, okay, I'm on board for this. And then we have the whole time travel aspect, which told me, it was like, okay, this might be kind of like Gokaiger. We're gonna meet all these previous teams. We're gonna educate about all this kind of stuff. But the crazy thing about it is that when I watched Gokaiger, I was literally being educated every episode about Sentai history, and they informed me in quick ways. Like, oh, this is a flashback. Here's a quick beat. Here's an explanation.
How long would you say that they
focus on
like give you the information?
It was very quickly. It was like quick in passing, but it was enough to help you understand everything that was happening there. But
great.
I'm gonna pause my thought for a minute because we got another
Super Chat.
Goku says, "Hey, O is the best minus the last episode." That's what Johnny said.
Oh, that's what Toku said.
That's
what
what
Toku said. Yeah. So it's
That's
the last
opinion.
episode that. But
Oh, you agree with me on the last episode.
Yeah.
That's probably it's really bad.
last week or last time we were doing this, Toku had even brought in the coins.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
I think O's is worth a watch, but it's pretty messy at times.
I mean, the suit looks decent.
Suit looks decent. I love the characters. I love
The sword looks bad.
Sword's cool. I love Birth, who's the secondary writer.
Yeah.
He's great, and there's a great storyline.
Were you disappointed you didn't get him in this?
I suspected it was fine. I wasn't expecting him.
I mean, they definitely changed it up by giving the X-Aid character the O suit.
Okay, here's the thing, because I wasn't here for that chunk. I will say, I think it is a neat idea to take a character from another writer show to make them into another writer.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of neat. I don't know if I hate this character, so I don't really like this first time using it.
Well, I'm saying, to go back, so that's actually my problem. Let's go back to my previous thought. Because So we're talking about Gokaiger, we watch Gokaiger, and they give you quick education about everything, so you kind of knew what's happening.
Yeah.
The problem here is, though, they're not telling us anything.
No.
Like, literally, if it wasn't for Justin here with us every week,
exactly.
so I was like, oh, that person's from this show, that person's from this show, I'm like, what the hell is happening
I thought
here?
he was just some eccentric actor that they
Exactly.
hired.
Or just some weird who's a businessman or whatever.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, oh, he was actually a person from this show. Wait, he was? And so that's my main problem with this series right now. Is
Totally
that,
fair. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I love Henshin.
Yeah.
Kamen Rider Build has made me a fan.
Oh my God,
I am so
yes.
on board. Like, I'm ready to learn everything. So going here, I was like, educate me. I want to get caught up.
Yes,
but the problem with this, though, is that this series isn't for like someone who's like trying to jump in here. It's not even for somebody who's watching for maybe the past 3 years.
Yeah.
You have to have a strong Kamen Rider history to get all the nuances that happen here. And it's kind of
Here's why I completely agree with you on all fronts on this. Okay, in this episode specifically, you are introduced to Eiji and Hina. They're the leads in O's. Eiji was the writer. Hina was your female lead, because
So
every
they
Kamen
know
Rider show
each other.
in O's, yes, not in this alternate reality thing, because the time travel in the show is a mess. So Eiji and Hina were close to the point where possible romantic interest in the show.
Okay.
I liked them just fine. I thought they were fun characters.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
enjoyable. So here's the thing. To accentuate what you just said. I know that in O's, that Eiji had a history of being part of a rich family in which he tried to use his wealth to help people, but in turn of using that wealth, it screwed him over and created death. I know, because I've seen O's, that Hina, for some reason, and the show never explains it, has super strength when she feels like it.
oh my god.
Yeah,
Now,
I was thrown off
That
by
was
it too.
so random.
No,
Yeah.
okay, so here's my...
So random.
This is my thing, right? Is like, I saw it, and as a person who's watched O's went, oh, cool, you remembered, because even the writers of O's forgot sometimes. Then I paused and went, but what about the people who never saw O's?
Right?
Exactly.
And that's you two.
Here's the thing, though. It's a lot of our audience, and it alienates the audience.
Yeah.
Like, the thing about this is that you need it. Like, the cool thing about this is you're missing an opportunity.
Yeah.
We have a new generation of like Kamen Riders. We're going here. We're kind of closing off a previous generation.
Yep.
So honestly, I feel like this should be kind of like a victory lap.
Yes.
It should be a storytelling of all the great Kamen Rider series that come beforehand. Like, we should be getting educated about like why Kickstarter is so important, why the bikes have done so many different things. Like, it should be this like grand thing, kind of like we got with again. I hate to keep going back to it. It does such a good job. It's become the gold standard. Gokaiger.
Yeah.
Gokaiger gave give you like a history and reason for so many different things. They paid homage to the Zords, to the weapons, to the Rangers. And so the thing about this is that here I feel they're not really doing that enough.
They're not. That is entirely their fault. They're not really giving you guys who are just jumping in the knowledge to understand and appreciate the show that they're representing.
It's a kid show, right? So I mean, kids. Some of them weren't gonna have watched the show back then.
No.
So I mean, it kind of leaves them in the dark too.
No.
Right?
And what's really sucky too is like, so they're doing these like, so remember how we was like, I was really excited at the beginning. It was like, oh, we'll get these 0.5 episodes.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, these 0.5 episodes will be things we'll kind of like build on the plot. And so the thing about it is, these 0.5s become like this like silly, jokey thing that kind of builds on the plot sometimes.
So they just throw the plot. They don't even like touch on the plot. No.
But the thing about it is, they're saying they're trying to he uses to educate the audience.
Yes.
Like before the next episode, they'll be like, hey, this is blah blah. In this series, she did.
Exactly.
They can do
God.
so many different things to make that time more useful, but instead, in the end, they're just assuming the audience is going to know, and that's problematic. And the other thing that's wrong with it too is though they're acting like we have regular access to this.
Right.
So it's like, oh, let me go and check out Kamen Rider O. It's like, no, do you know how hard it is to find like a good version of this that doesn't contain viruses that I can pay for?
And then how many episodes do I have to watch to understand
those? So every episode, I got to go watch another season.
Yeah, great example. Again, I'm going to keep using Gokaiger because it's the best example of this.
Gold standard.
In Gokaiger, there's an episode based on they did an episode for Live Man, an 80s Sentai. Okay, great. Okay, first of all, what kid in 2011 must have watched? What child in Japan has seen Live Man?
None.
Definitely not us.
Yes.
So Live Man had to have been explained enough for you to get that episode. And I remember watching an episode, never seeing Live Man. I was in my, I'm going to start watching every Sentai, but I didn't see Live Man when I saw an episode of Gokaiger. And I loved it because it was to the point, it was used in favor of the story of the characters on the show we were watching, but they gave you enough history to understand the context of why that character is there. One of the things great about the episode is Joe in Gokaiger is talking to Joe from Live Man.
Yeah.
And they both bring up the fact that like Joe is dealing with his struggle with his friendship with Barazog, who was his former friend Sid, who was turned into a monster, and Joe from Live Man, whose whole origin is my friends became monsters, and he's there. He's seeing Joe's struggle of like I want my friend back, but it's impossible. But I want my friend back, and the guy from Live Man's like, yeah, I get that, I feel that, I understand that. But your friend's gone, and you need to understand that. And I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. And they did all that, and I've never seen the show. I've never seen Live Man.
No, I totally agree with you. Like again, going back to another episode, the episode they do with like Time Ranger.
It's a retro Henshin Hangout. Right?
So there's an episode they do with Time Ranger, and here's the thing:
great episode.
They do a great episode, and like Gokai Silver's Zord comes from the future every single time.
Yeah.
So there's a point where Gokai Silver's interacting with his family. It's like this mom and her child and everything like that. You're getting some hints that she knew the Time Rangers, but all of a sudden when the ship goes back to the future, a guy's working on the ship. He's a former Time Ranger. He finds a picture of this girl in the sun. All of a sudden, he gets like weepy-eyed, teary, because guess what? That was his girlfriend. That's his child he left in the past.
Oh my God.
And here's the thing: I've never seen Time Ranger, but I got all of that by watching that one episode. I was like, oh my gosh, and I got feels. I was almost tearing up.
Right.
And so the thing about this was again, it kind of goes back to like writing 101.
Yeah.
And like, and Justin, you understand this, and Jezzer's a fan of like good storytelling. You understand this is that a lot of times when you do a story, you're supposed to have what you call like the novice character, the person who things get explained to. It was like, wait, what's this? Who's that? Oh, it's blah blah blah. Da da da. The person who, so that way the audience also gets educated at the same time. They're not doing that here. In fact, the writers here. The writers here aren't even interested in the past of these people.
No.
It's like they're like, oh, you're another writer. Then I was like, oh, who'd you guys fight? What was your purpose for fighting? Anything. Like, they don't care about these other writers.
I want to point something out real quick because I'm seeing the visuals right now. Hora, I think, is the best time jacker. You want to know why?
You think so?
Here's
She has
why.
a dragon.
Where are the other two? Where are the other two doing right now?
Yeah.
She is constantly there checking up on her nether riders.
Yeah.
She is controlling a dragon robot as we speak.
Which is pretty sick.
She is always like kind of got shit together. Sorry for using language.
She's all she's not intervening in the other time jackers.
She's not in the. Where's the tall dude?
Schwartz is
Yeah,
gone.
but Schwartz is like there when he feels like it,
No.
and I like the time jackers. I want to be clear
No,
on
the
that.
time jackers are the saving grace of this show.
I agree.
The time jackers and woes.
Yeah, no, I do like Waz.
So here's the thing.
Sure.
Here we go.
Here's the thing.
Sure.
Here we go.
I was on board for this. Like when she showed up with the dragon, I was like, is that a dragon robot? all day, every day. Take but then all of a sudden, when our main person when he brings out his robot, all of a sudden
Tsukiyomi?
yeah, and then the head changes and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
giant
So easy.
I like right here. I'm like, look, here's the thing. I understand the purpose is to sell toys, but God, that thing doesn't look awful and dumb looking.
It is not a
That's what I was saying.
It looks terrible.
It's a
oh
bad.
my God.
Also, what the heck?
Yeah.
What the heck, Joe? Let Tsukiyomi drive the robot.
Yeah.
It's like she came in, and then Sougo, because he's Kamen Rider, took over controlling the robot and went, let her pilot the robot.
Yeah, I mean, she's been doing it for so long.
And that was why I was getting so angry about this episode. So here's the thing. In this episode, they go through, and I'll explain why I'm angry about, because we got another super chat.
Super chat!
Thank you, Tofu Kid.
I love the Castle Duran time magazine. It was cool.
Yeah. That was a nice little, by the way, follow Toku.
I want them to read your comments. Super chat. It's like chatting, but
Want to read your comments?
you
Super
had that
chat.
on deck already.
It's like chatting, but super.
So, thank you, Toku. So going back to what I was saying, so here's the thing, and I'm going to slow this down because I want everybody to hear this. So the thing about it is, though, in this episode, the whole theme of it was you need to work with your friends. You cannot do things alone.
Yeah.
So when he jumps into this Zord, I'm like, cool, he's going to work with her. But like you guys say, he pushes her to the side.
Yeah.
Later on, as they're getting the new clones, I'm, ooh, maybe she'll become a writer.
Yeah.
And so again, it goes to that theme of friendship. You need people to support you. But again, that doesn't play out at all. He doesn't even reconnect with Gaze.
Yes,
Gaze
exactly.
And so
the whole point, like even in the last episode, at no point in time, these two people you're supposed to be working together. They're supposed to be helping you. At no point does he like take them aside. I'm gonna be doing this because of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing this to learn this. So Gates is like pissed off at him because he has no idea what's going on, and he's just thinking, oh, he's on that track to become that Zi-O, and I can't trust him. That's why at the end of this episode, it leaves there's a huge rift. There's a huge rift, and it's not like a rift between Gates and her and Sougo. It's just Gates. He's just walking away. He just doesn't give a shit. He's got this preconception on Sougo where there's no salvation for him. There's no way to save him.
Also, again, Hora doing her job is noticing this and figured, hey, maybe I can use Gates.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, okay.
That was how got okay.
Yeah, at the end of that was probably one of the positives of this episode is like we're seeing some type of development there.
Yeah.
But other than that, like it doesn't. Some of the stuff makes sense. The motivation that he had for actually working with Dan didn't really make sense to me. Like, oh, he wants to figure out what makes a good king. Is like,
And I guess you're wrong. I guess you're not. Like what a week. I don't.
Yeah.
It's so.
Another thing kind of got me too here is the fact that like going back to the last episode, and Justin, you weren't here for this, but I did not like the fight between Sougo and Gates. Because here's the thing though, it's like it's a rival fight. And the thing about it is when rivals fight, it's supposed to be this epic thing. Where it's like it was back and forth. It was like we don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, okay, Gates, guy from a war-torn future. Probably grew up a child soldier. Probably grew up in these combat situations all these time. Probably grew up waiting for the day to fight the emperor and everything like this. Yet he takes an L from an
So
emperor
easily.
who's only what this episode was? This episode like 7, 8, and so who's still a rookie at the beginning, and he took him down easily. It was like, I'm sorry, I went extra hard on you. It was like, how?
Yeah.
How are you getting this good that fast and Gates has been left behind in the
Doesn't make any
dust
sense.
when you've been together
Doesn't
this
make
whole
any sense.
thing? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
What else? Is there anything else you can take away from this episode?
My thing with this show
Oh,
is... we got the...
super chat.
Super chatting?
Yeah, Toku Kid says, well, that's how Phase was. No one talked to each other. Yep. Phase?
Fives.
Phase?
And I haven't seen all the fives, so hey, fair enough.
Yeah.
I know more people are favorable to fives than this episode, than this show.
See, here's the thing. Toku, I totally agree with you. You know more about fights than I do. But here's the thing, though. Because we're coming off a build, Build would have happened like this.
Right.
And Build, we would have saw Banjo fight Build, and it would have been a great fight. It would have been this epic thing. And then afterwards, they would have talked about it. Or there would have been a really good reason for them not to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Someone may got blown up, or something would have come along. It would have made more sense than what we're getting right now.
Yeah.
Also, when was the last time anyone rode a bike on this show?
I think episode 2?
2?
2. So,
No.
Once.
Once.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
And remember, I was all excited for it too. I was like, look at the way they're using the bikes. And he's hiding
I
here.
do remember. I wish.
Oh my
yeah,
God, this is
I'm like-
more than Bill. I can't believe it.
When we
Now
first
I'm like,
started-
I haven't seen a motorcycle in years.
When we
Build,
first started
first
this-
5 episodes of Build had a bike in every episode.
And
there was an action sequence used with the bike.
It's not only that though. The closing of Build is like, guess
Ends
what?
with the
Back
bike.
on the bike.
Ends on the bike.
Banjo, you know where you're
and
at.
then,
Let's
like,
roll.
It was like maybe every 3 episodes they had a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, the bike got
It didn't
left
play a
behind.
pop point, but he would ride into it or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's kind of a Heisei Rider issue in general, is they tend to forget the bikes.
Is it like
You
an
know
it's
what?
insurance thing? Like they can't insure their.
No, I bet you
actors?
it's more along the lines of they kind of are writing their show, and then at some point someone's like, "Hey, it's called Kamen Rider." Ah, right. Put the bike in there again.
Exactly. You know, I just realized that this show is missing.
Mm.
Serious thing. Going back to Bill, we talked about this when we were watching Bill. How Bill had this ongoing mystery and all this like drama and intense storytelling that was always
Yeah.
at your seat. But you know, also Bill also had a good amount of
What?
comedy.
Oh yeah.
There was a
Oh.
lot of comedy that always kind of balanced it out. As I'm thinking about here, I'm thinking about again going back to Stan Lee. I talked about this on the Superhero News Network. Stan Lee's one of the biggest things with us. You can develop the greatest hero you want, but if your supporting characters aren't also developed, it's going to fall flat.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
think
that's
they're
the problem
trying to
here.
they're trying to make his uncle comedic.
But see, that's-
But he's not developed.
Exactly,
though, right?
he's
Yeah.
not developed, and only that though he has nobody to play off of. Because
Yeah.
going back to Build, we had the dad who turned to be a villain later on,
Mm-hmm.
but you also had Mi-chan who's like super
No,
grumpy.
everybody had
who then
a
also
comedy, yeah.
exactly, and so there was a nice balance of and Banjo was funny here. Nobody's really funny.
No.
Sougo's kind of goofy, but it's like there's no comedy whatsoever.
No.
It's a real, and I think that's the reason why it started to drag so much. Because Bill was like, look, we're going to give you all this drama, we're going to have all this like that bad things that happen, but we're going to balance it out, make you laugh and have a good time. Here is like, there's none of that, and there's no investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sougo kind of sucks right now.
Huh? Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I was upset last episode with the fact is like, you want to be king, you want to protect people. He's like, I'm going to learn from this guy. Yeah, but he just turned that dude, an innocent person, to a monster.
Yeah.
You should be trying to avenge that person like right away.
He almost like struck a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck,
Yeah.
Sogo? Like he was gonna do it if you didn't come in like shaking his hand. Like Sogo, dude, he's a bad dude.
It's like, I want to learn from him.
What do you want to learn?
what-
No,
exactly.
What, the opposite of how to be a human being? Yeah, go keep learning from Kuroto Dan.
So here's the, if Kuroto Dan was actually looked like a good king, but he was like corrupt behind the scenes,
Yeah.
this whole episode would make more sense. Where people are like, you can't trust him, he's a bad guy. And that could have
It's
come
like-
from the writer who fought him.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't trust him, he's a bad guy. But look at all the things he's doing and blah, blah. He's like a Lex Luthor type.
Yeah.
Where he looks good in the public, but behind the scenes he's doing all these evil
Yeah.
things. That would have been a better episode. But here it's like,
He's like the
obviously
Joker.
evil. He's like the Joker
like-
running for
I mean,
mayor.
he's
We know
laughing.
it's the Joker.
He's got a maniacal laugh. He's just evil. Like what was in his last series? What was his character's role?
He started off as a bad guy, but he became so popular because the audience really loves his over the top like scene chewing.
Yeah.
That they made him a good guy.
Oh.
In X8,
So
which
did,
is
did he end off X8 on a good note?
yeah, he end off X8 as a shades of gray-ish villains, like your villain hero thing. I've always hated this character, and I know there's a fan base that adores him. He has 2 figure arts, two in civilian mode. Like
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
two in civilian mode. Fujioka, who was the first Kamen Rider, has 1. So so I.
To be honest with you,
I mean, he seemed like he could be a decent actor.
I can
I'm
see
sure.
it.
Over
No, I
the
can
top.
see it though.
It's a personal taste.
Like in these
I
2
hate it.
episodes, like when
Yeah.
he was walking around, I was like, this man is doing the most acting we've seen in 6 episodes.
Yeah.
He is chewing the series.
Yeah.
He is running circles
I mean,
around
it's,
our main
it
cast
looks ridiculous
right now.
as shit,
Yeah,
but he's
yeah.
still
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
He's
exactly.
swallowing
Exactly.
scenes whole. And if you like that, cool. I've never liked this character.
Yeah.
And every time he shows up on screen, to quote someone on Twitter who I really respect, she goes, seeing Kuroto Dan's character on screen is like watching battery acid in my eyes. I can't take him. I can't. And that's a me thing. I know people love him. I'm like, I hate this character so much. I'm really glad this 2 parts over. We'll just move on to somebody else.
So is there anything else that you guys can take away from this episode of Zi-O?
The show's got
Yeah.
the show's
Yeah.
got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
The thing about it is it had a lot of potential. And the thing is, I compared it to shonen manga when we first started watching this. I saw the potential it had. We were coming from Bill, and I thought it could do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
In those first 2 episodes, again, I was really willing to give it a chance.
Yeah.
But now that we're further into it, the show has a lot of problems that needs to rectify very soon. Like, one, we need more supporting cast members.
Yeah,
Like,
we
I'm
need-
getting kind of bored of
Oh my gosh.
Told you. 2.
Oh, wow.
I've seen these. These just recently came out too,
2
right?
separate action figures.
He's wearing the same shirt.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I think
crazy.
each figure has a different facial expression.
They do.
It's crazy.
So $60 per.
Facial
Dang.
expression. Wow.
They love Kuroto Dan. But yeah,
So
continue.
for me, that's the thing. It has a lot of problems, things it needs to work on. It can still get fixed because again, I kind of feel this is like a rookie writing team.
Yeah.
Who's like coming together for the first time.
Do
like,
they
trying
always
to-
change teams?
They always every season they change
Oh my
teams.
gosh.
So yeah. But at the same time, though, they gotta fix some things quick. So hopefully, our villains can be the source of this because I'm hoping that some of our villains will become like redeemed heroes in a way.
Like Shades of Grey.
Exactly. So when you think about we get like horrors or like some of them coming over, they can be a source of comedy.
Yeah.
Just God, we need it right now. What about you guys?
I feel like right now, as the guy who's seen a lot of Kamen Rider,
Oh, wow.
I can't see. Wow,
Wow.
they sculpted his
Wow.
his scene jewelry.
Is that a third one?
That's the
Yeah.
same.
No,
No,
no, it's
that's
the
one of the
same.
alternate faces you can't
Oh.
swap with him. Anyway, buy now on Amazon. Anyway, no. I think
Why now with that hashtag show?
maybe some point. I don't know.
Maybe.
Figure arts of Jezzer.
We buy it, we sign it, and then we sell it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I will say that for me, basically everything Johnny said, I've had these problems since episode 1, but I will say when the show works for me the best is when when it just does the bare minimum on tributes to shows I like.
Yeah.
And like I gave a lot of leeway to that Forza episode. And I don't think it's perfect, but I thought I was getting Jack Zero respect to Forza, and I got some.
Yeah.
Some respect.
Honestly,
Yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
I'm not impressed by the tributes. I'm sorry, I gotta
No,
say. I'm not
no,
impressed by the tributes.
I won't put
Here's the
something
reason
out.
why.
No,
Here's the
I
reason
won't
why.
put something out. Like, before you go into that, I'm not impressed because I've seen Gokaiger.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Ultraman Mabius, which is a phenomenal tribute season of Ultraman. But for me, it's like, listen, I thought I was getting nothing. So this is me getting the water in the desert.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you know what? You mentioned the Hina thing? I'll take it. As a guy who watches so much old Kamen Rider, I'll take what little I got. The last time they did an anniversary season for tribute was Decade, in which they did 0! 0!
He's
So I will take it.
So the only reason why I'm saying I'm just upset with it because again, it's like going back and watching some of the Forza, I'm like, ooh, I like this. Ooh, this is cool. So when I was doing the tribute episode, I was like, ooh, I see Jack nothing. I see like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So that's just me though. But again, that's another problem that we have with the show.
Because I'm comparing it to another anniversary show that gave me nothing.
Well, how about let's talk about our next show.
Oh, but Jezzer, any problems with the show with you?
Just the timeline, the time travel
It's a
explanation. Yeah,
mess.
yeah.
Okay.
Just the time travel. Like it's a mess. It doesn't make any sense. I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. But other than that, it's still a crappy show.
Yeah.
But before we bounce, because we're about to do right now, exactly right. Audience score now.
Oh,
What are we giving this
yeah.
out of 5 watches?
Well, what did you guys? I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets a watch.
It
It gets 1.5 out of 5.
You're the teacher. I understand that.
Nobody.
Let us know in the audience. Let us know in the comments
Let's see.
below. All right, enough of this.
3 out of 5.
Batu gives it 3 out of 5.
Otaku
Tuki is 0 out of 5. Told
Of
you.
course, I love
Told you to get your watch.
Layla's. Layla's is Oz. I didn't watch this show out of 5.
I was talking to my boyfriend out of 5.
Who said that?
Layla.
That's awesome.
J-Boss. Okay, J-Boss, here's the thing. J-Boss, I'm going to need you just to write a quick diatribe in the comments after the show's over about why you're liking this show. Because here's the thing. I will promise you, I will take some time next episode. I will read what you write on air, but I need you to break this down for me. Why are you liking these episodes to help us get on board with you? Because you're enjoying this, and I want to enjoy this as much as you are.
I feel like It's either us or he may be a little insane. We'll try to figure out.
Okay,
what.
Neo Dragon Ranger,
listen.
gave it 4.5 out of 5. Neo, I need you to do the exact same thing. I need you in the comments after this episode explaining why you're enjoying this.
He got a 4.5 out of 5?
Find us on Twitter. You know where to find us on Twitter.
Well,
or that hashtagger show.
So
or that hashtag
the two places. One, here in the comments, and two, on the THS
hashtaggers
page.
on Facebook.
Exactly.
Tell us there. You can
No,
write
I
a
really
big
want, I
old
really
post.
want to rationalize, like, what are you seeing that we're not seeing?
No, and I'm not here to say, like, and I want to point out, like, not here to, like, go,
Thomas
like,
Franco just gave it a 5.
all right. Hey, listen.
Okay.
Let us know on the, THS
THS
hashtaggers. Let us know. That's a great form to
Start
talk
a-
about
start
it.
a thread.
Start a thread.
Here's the thing. We got turkey holidays coming up. We got days off. We got plenty of time to chat. Here's the thing. My birthday's coming up next week. So here's the thing. In preparation for that, again, I want to chat with you and talk about this. So get me on board for next week's episode.
Yeah.
So please go to TGS hashtaggers or go to the comments. Comment. Let us know so we can engage with you. So that way next week's episodes, we will read the comments and we will have a conversation about this.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to be open to your positivity because the thing is, we want to be happy. I hate not liking
So
this show.
let's go into Lupat. Did you guys enjoy
Right,
it?
us over here. All right.
Lupat was decent.
Strong
I think-
episode.
I think
You know what's so good? Because when you start watching Zi-O, everything gets better. I got a root canal last week, like, that's the better Zi-O.
So there's a lot of good things that came out of this episode. There's the whole development with Umika and Noel and all that. But we also figure out that the getting frozen is not the end of the line.
Yes.
Getting frozen is not the end of the line. In the form of the tempura shrimp gangler coming back.
Ooh, I was so excited to see. Oh, we get shrimp tempura. Yeah, he's back. Where's my cocktail sauce?
Me and my friend talked.
I kind of want to go to Bubblegums right now.
Oh, there it is.
Let's go.
Boom.
Me and my friend talked about this in terms of like what's good stupid in superheroes and what's bad stupid in superheroes. You know what I mean? Like there's good stupid and then there's bad stupid. Bad stupid is over explaining a thing like for no good reason. For like why does Superman do this and you give this whole complicated answer. No. There's also good bad, good stupid, and good stupid is when a fried shrimp monster shoots fried shrimp like a missile. That's good stupid. And I love it when this gets good stupid.
Someone's buying this beer.
So, but what other fun things that came out of this episode that you really enjoyed?
So one, I love the tempura shrimp monster. That was really cool. I love us finally getting back to the villains. So we're getting Zamigo and all those things going, which was like super dope.
Some gangler stuff looks
Gangler.
like
Gangler.
Gangler.
When's the last time we saw that Gangler mansion? I was like, what's that? Is that Beverly
Yeah,
Hills?
like we were talking about
Where's the
before.
Gangler mansion?
Remember before that they had a long table with all the ganglers? It's very empty.
Oh, that Gangler is empty.
That
That
Ganglers
table was
are
empty.
done.
There's
They're
like one
gone.
Gangler right there who's got a whole cocktail tray to himself. Like, guess no one else is coming. Deli meats.
So what do you guys think about the whole like? I don't want to say harassing, but Kiichiro like all over Kairi. Yeah.
I feel like this is what I'm really fascinated right now with what's going on with Kairi. And I think starting with the episode in which Kairi shot his brother in that test to get Magnum, we are noticing a significant change to Kairi. And what's really cool is that his teammates are catching on to
There's
it.
a little divide with the Lupinrangers.
And like it's a thing where the fact that like what if Kyrie's going so farther into the dark half of being a thief and being a criminal that he's losing a little bit of what should be the good in him. And Keiichiro, it's great that Keiichiro is constantly bugging him because he cares.
So he's kind of like his tether to his old life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you totally because I've always been going back to that. It was actually, what was it? Yeah, it was the basketball.
Yeah.
It was his brother and everything like that, how he had to get the gun. I was like, this is bad. And ever since then, he's been going on more solo missions. He's been doing things that are more reckless. Like here, going after a gangler by himself.
Yeah.
I was like, as I was watching, I was like, what's the purpose of Sentai then?
Yeah.
Sentai is a team. If you want to go by yourself, go be a Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
And so the thing about this was like, this was going down. I'm like, he's starting to go down the path that is, like you said, it's very dark. And again, I think he believes he's embracing the thief side of him, which is like, is that what you should be embracing?
Because everyone kind of, that's the thing with the Lupinrangers, is that they agreed to do this dark path because they want to save their loved ones. That is a different motivation than just simply, I want to steal because I want things, and I don't want to do it I don't want to do it the legal ways. Their motivation has always been conflicted with that personal reason, but Kyrie's going down to...
Gosh.
What?
Ooh.
Ooh, something
Like
I just saw it. I was looking at Johnny, and you see like just a light bulb light up. What's going on?
I just got so.
What you got?
So because we were talking about this, it's like so Kyrie's going down this dark path. Remember, he says he doesn't have a home. He doesn't have anything he connects with. That was a big plot point last episode. And so I realized two big things here. He's going down. He's getting the gun. He's getting all these things. And remember, I told you guys about the theories, like, why do they have the safes anyway? So what if the Ganglers and all this stuff is like all set up to help him become the new head of the Ganglers?
Oh, you're talking about Kyrie?
Yeah. And then what's dope is the only person who can save him and bring him back is Kichiro, the other Red Ranger.
Or you mean Kiichiro, the actual Lupin thief?
You're gonna still play that card, huh?
I'm playing that card.
Well,
I'm still playing
I
that
still
card.
think Uncle's gonna be a villain in 6 episodes from now. Let's find out how that.
I've been researching hot wings and hot sauce. It's going to be bad.
I still believe it.
It's going to be bad.
I still believe it.
It's gonna turn it up.
Episode 16, he better do something
Episode
evil.
16.
He better drop that chicken on the floor or something. But
You like watching hot ones on the other channel? It's gonna turn into this show.
So,
now,
Super Sentai expert. What is the Gangler collection piece here, or the Lupin collection piece?
here's a funny thing. I'm not sure. I will tell you this much. That kind of looks a little bit like Jetman to me.
Oh.
Now, again, please comment below and tell me I'm wrong. But, because I'm probably wrong. But that kind of looks like, that's not a specific thing in Jetman, but when Jetman jumps into the air in the opening credits and they kind of float down, they do go into that formation.
That's very
but I am not 100% on that. So please, comment below. Tell me, Justin, you moron. Every time they say you're Super Sentai expert, you get it wrong every time.
I thought it was from
correct it.
I thought it was from Power Rangers the movie.
Really?
Remember where they're jumping out of the airplane? and they all go in a circle and do the fundraiser by jumping out the airplane. It was like, how is parachuting a fundraiser?
Yeah.
This takes a lot of money.
So-
and they're all holding hands going down. That's exactly what that looks
So
like.
one of the
Red Hot Chili Peppers
one
is
of the,
playing in
like
the
the
background.
one of the highlights from this episode is we get another showdown between Lupin Red and Zamigo.
Yeah.
But this time, Lupin Red is not just Lupin Red. He's
Super, what is this? Super Lupin Red or Mega Lupin? What do you call himself?
What's the mode on this? Anyone know?
super mega Lupin
He
Ranger.
looks like he's got he's
He's got a cape. He's got a
cape.
He's got a longer cape.
This is also one of those. I'm hoping this is one of those extra shield thingies that is transferable to every member.
I hope to. I
I
hope
hope
to.
so.
I like when they do that.
Well, at the same time here, two things. One, I love this fight scene. Like when he's fighting the shrimp monster, he gave him that work.
Yeah.
He gave him that work. And even when
he
Zamigo
did.
showed up, Zamigo was getting that work. And then once he got his power up, so here's the thing. I love... No, let me retract that statement. I almost said something wrong. I was going to say I love battleizers. I do not love battleizers. But here's the thing. I'm going to slow this down. Usually when they do battleizers are just like a huge power boost. It's like, here's a weapon that's going to shoot a bigger blast, a bigger energy beam, something along those lines. Here, it's the exact opposite. He got a new weapon, but it was actually a more intuitive thing where he could see the future.
Yeah.
I like it. It gave him a new power and ability, which could be applied in creative ways.
Yes.
It was really great writing. It was taking something old and giving a great spin to it.
I do. I also like how they brought back the Magnum gun. And it's just like, okay, Lupin Red's overpowered. Let's overpower him a little bit more and give him back the gun. And it's like, wow. And then Blue and Yellow really is not really doing anything in this episode except just watching.
But you know what? I realized with this one other thing I was gonna say. I think they're all saying this up because he's got the gun, he's got the intuitive ability. Jezzer, if they all try to fight him now, could they win?
Ooh.
And I think that's what we're leading up to.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to fight Kyrie.
Well, we'd have
and
to
he's
see Noel's battleizer against his battleizer.
gonna- yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing right now. Remember I talked about this how
Ooh.
the Power Rangers haven't got any battleizers or anything like
So
that.
you're saying he's on this dark path.
Exactly. He's
Anakin
getting all.
Skywalker path.
There it is.
Yeah.
He's getting all these power ups and everything like that. And again, they're going to have to fight him towards
true.
the end and bring him back.
I can see that. That's like,
Well,
and
it's
that'd be
okay.
a really cool. That's an angle. Funny enough, I never thought of that angle, but that would be a really cool thing to do in this show. That's the
Yeah.
cool thing about
Okay.
a versus Sentai show. Team ups, you have to do fight people that you don't want to fight.
Yes.
Now we're at that point.
And then, yeah.
Someone who they care about, they might have to fight him. That's a cool
And
angle.
definitely, it kind of goes to kind of one of the themes here that Umika was having trouble with is the main goal versus your friendship.
Yeah.
So it's there's that dynamic where she's gonna have, not just her, but they're gonna have to choose which path they're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
Sacrificing their friendships or that main goal. That's the main thing that they've been trying to do this whole time.
Exactly, and I love the way they phrase it too, though, because I love when that scene happened where Patranger Green comes and gives her that advice. He's like, if you really need to solve the problem, then you need to maybe go against your friend and talk to them later. But if you need to solve this problem, you do want to do this. Because I love the way he phrased it. It's like solving a problem. There's something bad happening that you need to fix.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's not like her goal is like riches, or it's like she wants like all this like different things like that. Is that she wants to save her friend's life.
Yeah.
She wants to bring her back.
Yeah.
And so it's an admirable problem that she's trying to solve. And so in that sense, it makes sense. And by the way, I love the fact too that Patranger Green and her had that little connection meeting right there. I was like, he gave her that good advice and she appreciated it. I was like, oh yeah,
But then,
he's working
but,
that
but then
working that green
as soon as
magic.
she figured it out, she's like, all right, bye. Like, just.
It is funny that he had more things to say that might actually been more productive and helpful for her, but no, she ran off.
But we got her
Super chat!
Thank you, Tofu Kid.
He says, make Kyrie the end villain. He at least got development. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a good character development.
Yeah, he's got he has probably one of the strongest character development, but I do like the whole overall.
Yeah, they're all getting a little bit.
Yeah,
they're all
yeah,
getting
yeah.
a little bit.
Keiichiro's getting some good stuff when they give Keiichiro some good stuff. I think it's unfair to just say Kyrie's getting everything. No, I think everyone's getting something. Maybe Noel needs to speed up a little bit, though, on the character development. Though, interesting thing, Zamigo has nothing to do with his thing.
Which was cool, too.
Yeah. I was not expecting that.
There's no connection between them.
No, so whoever took his level and wherever he's trying to get back was through somebody else or something else.
Now, through the power of editing, it's implied that as soon as they mentioned, wait, if Zamigo didn't do that, who did? Cuts to
the Gangler.
The Gangler. Boom. So that to me is a mild possible hint that this dude has something to do with whoever Noel lost.
Yes.
And I'm loving here the fact that when the girl Gangler comes in, who's always making people big. That's my best impression of that song they sing.
Yeah.
I love the fact she's like, you need my help. He's like, what, to grow big? You're going to need my help. And like, I love the fact that we're starting to see that the villain character development now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So all in all, I would say like I like this episode.
I do too.
It's doing a lot of plot development. My only critique is the shit has been happening earlier.
Oh sure.
Like again, we should be having this.
Because this is the 39th.
We got 10 episodes, like pretty much.
Oh my god!
And because again, the longest running Sentai series don't go over like 52 or something like that.
52, yeah.
So we're about to wrap this up pretty soon. And honestly, I'm enjoying the series right now. But had this all been happening around 28.
Sure.
Which means everything else would happen like because 28 had this all been a bit more condensed.
But
series.
that just means these next 10 and 11 episodes are going to be fire.
They're going to be clutch.
I hope so.
They have to be clutch.
They have to be because there's so much they have to squeeze in. But yeah, who knows? Like that's the thing. Like Sentai, I always said like there's always a middle ground with Sentai. In the middle of the season, there's a weird lag. Even my favorite shows, they just have this middle chunk where they're like figuring it out how to stretch it longer. And it's always a problem. And I agree. Like, man, if they just could have figured this out 20 episodes ago or 10 episodes ago, we would have been propelling this further. Yes. They always get distracted or feel like they have to do something else.
Yeah.
And, hey, it is what it is. But, hey, if they can nail this ending, nail it, that'd be a heck of a
all
thing.
in all,
Go ahead, Jezzer.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if they nail this ending, if they nail this ending, it will definitely put it up there in the pantheon of like great Sentai series.
Yeah, I agree.
But it definitely won't.
Definitely
my personal
innovative.
opinion, exactly. It definitely won't break the top 5, maybe not even the top 10.
Yeah.
Because that first 25 episodes was just such a drag to get through. And
but
so,
it'll be decent enough.
Exactly, it'll be respectable, and it'll be one of those series that we recommend. Is like, oh, you want to check it out? Super dope. Watch like the first 3 episodes. Skip to introduction of Noel. After that, skip to episode like 29, that's when it gets good.
No, I will say that like I like those first 25 more than you two. So I will say stick through the show as long as you can.
Yeah.
But I will say this is a show that was rejuvenated by its new approach, and I think Sentai needed, at least story wise, to do a show like this to feel fresh, to feel different.
Yeah.
And sometimes they didn't quite nail it. Sometimes they're still figuring it out. But you know what? At the end of the day, I could say that like Lupinranger versus Patranger, even if I don't like the last 10 episodes. Solid show, and does a lot well with its premise. Even with some caveats, it mostly succeeds,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to see how they finish it off. And if they fail, they fail. Hey, whatever. You know?
I agree with you, but I would just say a couple things because recently I've told you guys about this. I've really been dipping into like the Sentai history, going back and watching some more Sentai series and everything like that. So some of the things that I've discovered is like you're exactly right. They've been using the same formula for so long. They need something innovative here, and I think this was a total like experimentation season.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which all in all is a good thing.
Yeah,
it's just that you can't succeed until you fail. And I think coming from there, they're learning some like key things. Like one, like an essential plot like this should be introduced sooner, and you should so that way it gets things going a little bit faster. Two, I've said this since episode 1. The Patranger suits. They look ridiculous, and the thing about it is that, as Layla just pointed out in the comments, they're not popular in Japan, which is the reason why they're not getting like power-ups or anything like that. And so if you're going to do a versus series, both sides have to be kind of equal in a way.
Right.
Equal and more enticing for kids and toy buyers.
Exactly. So imagine if you did, because again, they're cops or whatever, take off those shoulder pads, take off the ties or whatever. Imagine if you gave them that, but you give them like jackets.
Yeah.
Or something cool like that. I was like, oh, that's a jacket?
Something that makes it stand out a little bit more.
Exactly.
No,
Makes a little more cool factor to it.
I will say, like, a jacket, you would have been really cool, because if the Patranger, the Lupinrangers have capes, I love a good trench coat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They had trench coats in the beginning, just like civilian modes.
version.
Like a Sentai version of a trench coat.
Yeah.
That'd be rad.
X Gold has one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like a little more obvious.
Yeah.
I think a trench coat would be really rocking. Especially hitting harder with that Zenigata comparison in my
I'll
head.
also make their weaponry, and again, I think I will start differentiating like their skill sets.
Yes.
As well.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
again, maybe the police just have like way better weaponry,
Yeah.
whereas the thieves are just more skilled and like
Maybe
faster
they
and
have
things like that.
rifles or something.
Exactly.
And I don't know how much of that is like Bandai's call, telling them they need these kind of weapons, these kind of things, these toys. But
True, but I would agree with you. But I would say go back to their power set, just make them differentiated. Because again, we've always said this problem with Noel is he goes from cop mode to police mode. And it's like, what's the point?
so what's the point? It's just a color swap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not really doing anything. Even we just his Zord is like barely a weapon switch.
Here's a lesson I'd be intrigued to see if they do, and it's a very simple change. If the next show, and again, it's not going to be next season. I think they're going to go back to the traditional alt hero team. But if they do decide to do another versus Sentai team, I think the only other option is, well, you can't do this again. You can't have two heroic ones. One has to be full on bad guys.
Yeah, and that's
like
what I was
straight villains.
That's what I was thinking that this was going to be when we first got the premise of this. But no.
No, it's the Lupin the Third thing, where it's like you like the heroes, you like the villains, you like the thieves, you like the cops. You get to enjoy them both, and you hope they maybe team up once in a while. But the next time they want to do a versus, you got to go straight up.
Straight up black and white.
Black and white. These are the bad guys. These are the good guys.
It works. And it can work on a couple different levels because the way you could do it is you have a Ranger team already established. Like you said, there are the villains.
Yeah.
And there's like one more for left. And literally that person has to go and like fight each of these people and try to save people, defeat these monsters. But each time they defeat a Ranger, they take that morpher from them and they're able to give it to somebody else. So slowly over the course of the series, they build up their team.
That'd be cool. If you do like 12 Rangers like Q Ranger and you... That'd be a dope show.
And it gives you time because every time you see a new Ranger introduced, you're like, cool, well, now we get to take this item, switch it over to the good side, and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Hire Johnny. That's a dope show.
What would you guys give this episode?
Out of 7? 6? Or 7?
7?
I would say solid 4.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the same page, 4.5.
You know what? 5.5.
Oh.
And here's the reason why.
We go a little low, we go a little high, he goes a little lower, goes a little high, he goes a little high.
This is my only reason why.
Oh, yeah, go.
One, Zamigo. We got Zamigo this episode.
That's true.
We got to develop with Zamigo. Zamigo's an actual threat.
And
He's
something
a really
we've always
great fighter.
been saying, though, like, where's Zamigo? Where's Zamigo?
And not only that, though, but he loved the fight. That fight between him and Lupin Red was amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that, again, the family's potentially could be alive.
Yeah.
That gives him another goal here.
So much realization, so much more story that we can expand on.
Which also creates another conflict as well, because here's the thing. So their families could potentially be alive, right? Which means they defeat Zamigo, they get their families back, right? What's your motivation now? Is your motivation to go collect Lupin pieces or go after Zamigo?
Ooh.
Again, these are things that they have done earlier on, make the series better. But now they've done it, again, these last 10 episodes,
It's definitely going to make things different.
Noel, who killed his family? What happened to him? What is his motivation? That's interesting now. The whole Kyrie potentially becoming a villain. Like, there's just so many different things here. Patranger green and yellow. Again, I'm loving all of it.
What's the audience score for this ep?
Batusi says, waiting for a resoldier out of 7. Toku says, I stopped watching out of 7. Mass 1.9 out of 5 for J Boss.
Wow, J Boss.
Yeah, so we're definitely like not on
We're
the same
not
page.
on the same
Not on the same
wavelength.
page. Sam says 5 out of 5.
Layla says, I no longer like Noel out of 7. Sam says 5 out of 5.
You're a strong defender of Noel, too, Layla.
Mask Rider Blue says watch Garo instead out of 5.
And then Mr.
Garo's a
Quav-
different thing. I'll watch Garo when I feel like it.
Mr. Quav gave this 4 out of 5 for this episode due to all the reveals.
Yeah.
Like, watch Garo and
So,
say,
yeah.
like, no, I want to watch Sentai. Garo's its own thing. That's his own thing. You know?
Honestly, like, here's the thing. I'm happy that we have these different opinions here. As we
Yeah.
said before, go to the comment section, go to the Facebook page.
THS
like,
hashtaggers.
do a post there, and let's get the conversation going because we want to hear from you, want to hear your thoughts. And the dope thing about it is, though, we'll keep the conversation going there, and then we'll continue next week. And that's the cool thing about it, is that by us doing this episode, it's a way for all of us to share our opinions, to like learn from each other and learn what we like.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And by the way, real talk though, thanks to everybody who showed up late. I'm sorry we got here late today, but we still a lot of people showed up to come and join us. So again, thank you for coming through.
Thank you. You had your finger up?
No. Just saying, like, I think we're all ready to wrap up
Yeah,
here.
we're
All
good.
right.
You guys, thank you so much for spending your Saturday with us. Thank you for joining us again for our episode of Henshin Hangout.
Hang out.
I want to wish you also a happy early Thanksgiving. If you're going to celebrate that at all with your family and friends, enjoy the turkey or whatever you eat.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not
And thank you for the early birthday wishes.
Yep.
My
And
birthday's-
thank you for all the super chats. I think it was Toku Kid. Thank you so much for all that. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to keep up to date with everything trending.
In geek pop culture.
Peace.
Woo!